All right, since we're talking one Snyder, let's talk the other Snyder that Alex feels like talking about, and I'm going to make fun of him for bringing it up.
Okay. So Scott Snyder, who doesn't work anymore as far as I know because he's the shits.
You mean Zack Snyder?
He makes bad movies. Or Zack Snyder, sorry. He went on, it was on a Watchmen director's cut. And he responded to people being negative on his DC movies. And I'm going to quote him here. He said, "Oh, like Batman killed a guy?" And I'm like, wake the fuck up. So I guess that's what I'm saying about, like, once you've lost your virginity to this fucking movie and then you come home and you say to me something like, my superhero wouldn't do that. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like down the fucking road on that. You know what I mean? It's a cool point. Look, I'm 100% fine with it. It's a cool point of view to be like, my heroes are still innocent. My heroes don't fucking lie to America. My heroes don't embezzle money from their corporation. My heroes didn't commit atrocities. That's cool. But you're living in fucking dream world. Here's the thing, Zack Snyder. Where is the real world that Superman and Batman live in? It's not the real world, you fucking dolt. You made a shit Batman movie. You made a shit...
Actually, he has not made a Batman movie. He has not made a Batman movie.
He made Batman vs. Superman.
That wasn't a Batman movie.
It was mostly about Batman.
Yes. You know, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, you know, with Wonder Woman and Doomsday and all those Lois Lane and Lex Luthor.
He's basically saying Batman murdering people, which goes entirely against his entire character, and was not popular. I again want to point that out. Was unpopular enough that he is no longer allowed to make the movie.
That goes to my point. Why do you care what he thinks? He's no longer relevant. They're no longer making him letting him make the movies. If he decides to go on this tirade to make people mad, what's the big deal?
Because he thinks he is.
But he's not, so just let it go.
And it angers me. But everything he did was proven a failure. What's DC's most successful movie right now?
Aquaman?
It's Aquaman. And I watched Aquaman recently. You know what it was?
Wasn't it a Zack Snyder movie?
No, it wasn't. It was fun.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't dark for the reason of being dark. It didn't have characters acting completely unlike the characters from the fucking comic. The only time, and I've told you this a million times, I don't get offended when comic book movies change things as long as it works for the film. In Batman vs. Superman, what he did to Lex Luthor offended me. I was offended by this.
Well, that's why that's why I get upset when they change it, because it's like, okay, well then you have a 50-50 chance this is going to get over, as opposed to you had this surefire way, you know, the surefire time-tested way of doing Lex Luthor that always gets over because it's been around for decades. You could try this new way and it could get over, but you got a 50-50 chance. And those aren't good odds when you consider you could just go with the guaranteed hit.
So what do you even think of it? You know who we should get for Lex Luthor? Who? That goofy asshole. The one from the Mark Zuckerberg movie. Yeah. That's who we need for that. It's like, oh yeah, that'd be a great fucking Lex Luthor. Yeah, and then you know what we do? We make him like the Joker. Because that's what Lex Luthor is. He's like the Joker. He's talking about real world. You got a guy who runs a gigantic corporation and is evil. You made him a goofy cartoon character. The Lex Luthor from the cartoon is a more realistic character than the realistic version he put on screen. That guy was always a fucking hack. He was a music video director who did movies that looked like music videos. Music videos also not really around that much anymore.
In some instances, when it's a really, you know, paper-thin storyline, it's fine. You can get away with that when the story's not really super important.
Flashy colors and shit. But
if that's
you're telling stories.
Yeah, and if that's the kind of movies you're going to do, that's fine to have that kind of, you know, approach to storytelling. But when you're doing something a little more, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like superhero movies are, you know, the second coming of I don't know, whatever. They're not these big intellectual thought pieces that require you know sophisticated touch. It's superhero movies, but it requires a little more finesse than, you know, Sucker Punch.
Yes. Well, I mean, his first one would have been Watchmen, right?
Yeah.
And I've actually made the argument that Watchmen was a good adaptation.
Yeah, I do too, but I do it for the wrong reasons. When people say Watchmen, the film wasn't that good, I'm like, well, the comic wasn't that good.
You're such a hater on that shit.
I think it's one of those things to where if I read it in a vacuum, I probably would like it a lot better, but the fact that people put it over so much, and it's like, okay, this is good. It's not great. It's not this redefining book that deconstructions the genre.
Well, you didn't start reading comics until like 2008, so it's, I mean, you are missing something, and we're not arguing about fucking Watchmen. Zack Snyder's shit. That was why I wanted to talk about this. Fuck him. I'm glad he doesn't get work anymore. He's the shits. He should make porn.
Ooh. Well, he kind of did with Sucker Punch.
I never watched that shit. I'm not gonna fucking watch it.
I didn't watch the entire movie because basically I was just like, oh, so this is just a series of music videos. They're cool music videos, but I don't need to sit down for 2 hours and watch this.
I wouldn't even trust his fucking music videos. He probably did. What did he do? Fucking Nickelback music videos? Fuck him. He's shit. Nickelback sucks too.
Alex, I'm just asking you to look at this photograph.
Did he do, that fucking band ruined that. I don't have to anymore because of cell phones, but I can never say, look at this photograph again because of that fucking song. And 90% of people on earth would like chuckle and go, every time I do, it makes me laugh.
I'm sure 90% of the people you tell that to, but I'm sure me and your wife probably can't help but say, every time I do, it makes me laugh.
Lauren probably would, and you would. But I'm sure there are other people who would.
The best one is when I first started busting it out. You're like, oh, hey, Tony, check out this picture. Check out this picture. I'm like, Alex, are you asking me to look at this photograph?
And I'd no sell it. I'd just be like, it's not a photograph. It's a picture. It's a different thing. Fuck you. Fuck Nickelback.